myself into. Out of the red, out of the head, she sang. Come down and waste away with me. Oh, down with me. So how you wanted it to be. Oh, I'm over my head, out of her head she sang. Out of her head she sang. And I wonder, when I sing along with you, if everything could ever be this real forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, you gotta promise not to stop when I say when she sang. Breathe out so I can breathe you in. Hold you in. And now I know you've always been. Oh, out of your head, out of my head I sang. And I wonder, when I sing along with you, if everything could ever feel this real forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, you've got to promise not to stop when I say when she sang. Dave Grohl with a big old hand, got the big hand smacking the other guys in the band, smack 'em down with a big hand. Dave Grohl with a big old hand. And I wonder if anything could ever be this real forever. If anything could ever be this good again. The only thing I'll ever ask of you, you've got to promise not to stop when I say when. Dave Grohl with the big hand.
But it's not nothing. It's certainly not just happiness. It's better than happiness, but it's almost unbearable.
people like Tucker, Megan, Candace, Nick Fuentes, all the, rabid nut jobs, they all see that this guy is frail, weak, lame duck, not strong at all. And so they're jumping ship. But Bannon, much like Laura Loomer, he wants to go down with it. Play the clip.
I don't think MAGA has President Trump. And as you know, I'm a huge advocate of President Trump's third term. So right now, I think...
You're not just saying that to mess with JD?
No, not at all. I think you guys all paid your taxes here yesterday. Are there anyone in the room would not vote for President Trump and what he's trying to do with this economy?
But what interested me about this was that he literally peed his pants, and I'm not joking. So if you look down in Steve Bannon's crotch right there, you can see that he has pissed his pants. He literally wet the bed. These guys are the biggest bedwetters. This is the perfect illustration of a MAGA man.
What the hell's going on here? All right. Where am I? There I am. Okay, cool. Hey. Am I fucking audible?
Are you audible?
I know I'm fucking visible. Hey, there's Bob. I'm the only visible guy, huh? Yeah, Bannon didn't pee his pants. He's piss maxing, okay? He's piss mogging all over everybody, okay? Look, Trump shits himself on a regular basis. Bannon, he's a big supporter. He's like, look, I got to show my dude that I'm committed to the cause.
No, he just has a big, sweaty penis. That's all.
He's certainly sweaty and big, but I don't know about.
I wish I had.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I meant to say he is a big, sweaty penis.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
I have an audio of retching somewhere, and I don't have it loaded up. I wish I did. I almost just wanted to say, all right, pause. I'm going to find it. But no, I'm not going to do that.
So before we get going, mic check for everyone. How do I sound? I sound great?
Yeah.
Sound fine. How do I sound?
Not as great as Bob, but you are audible. So.
All right. Put me in back for a while because I am not on my primary device. So
okay, I'll
hang out and just mind chat.
Thank you.
Put yourself there.
That's true. I can put myself there. But Bob.
Got a couple of different things to look at here. Most of them are pretty small and inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, kind of. But so The Boys' final season has been very good so far. I don't know if you watched, Bob.
I have never watched anything more than the first episode of season 1, and that just wasn't for me.
Yeah, fair. I mean, look, it was still in its trying to figure out how to be an adaptation of an overly edgy comic that actually has some good, really strong satirical moments and ideas in it. But yeah, really, Garth Ennis was just being too Garth Ennis in that book. The show, I think Eric Kripke has done a pretty good job, especially as time goes on, of making it its own thing, and in many ways, it's just far superior to the comics.
That's what I've heard.
And they don't do the edgy stuff for the most part that isn't necessary or that doesn't actually have a good point to it. You know what I mean? They're not just like writing edgy jokes the way that Garth Ennis did just because he wanted to laugh or whatever. Or to shock people. That stuff's in there, but it generally serves a purpose. But this season is finally wrapping up some stuff, and it seems like already 3 episodes in, there's some major stuff happens so far.
Well, this is their final season, right?
Yeah.
Well, of course. So big stuff's going to happen all season.
Yeah. I mean, you make it sound like it's obvious, and it is, but like whenever there's a few characters that maybe had a little bit of plot armor the last few seasons, so. And there's been some of that this season too, but I mean, that's just something that's going to happen with a show like this. Really, if you don't do a little bit of plot armor, you're never going to have the mega powerful bad guy meet the regular guys. You know what I mean? And you need to have scenes like that. So anyway, the problems with The Boys don't really have anything to do with what's in the show itself, what's being depicted rather. But I've come to learn about, and it seems like a lot of people have, the last week or so, that the guy who plays the character of Frenchie, the Frenchman, Serge, whatever name he goes by, Frenchie. He's an Israeli guy, which, not in and of itself a problem.
but then he served in the IDF, which I believe, for the vast majority of them, they have to. I don't know. Do you know how long they have to serve in the IDF, Bob?
I don't know how long they have to serve, but every citizen of Israel is required to serve in the military.
18 years of age, I believe.
Yeah, it's basically a permanent draft.
It's
I think it's an important bit of context for people to understand. They can't not do it unless they want to go to jail, which is a valid option. And there are conscientious objectors there.
But I mean, if it was so I've seen, I can actually show you the dialogue that was happening about this that I was looking at, and you see some pretty. Look, I'm going to say this. Whenever we get into talking about the details, however you feel about it, good, valid. I'm not going to take that away from you. I'm not going to say that, like, if you can't watch the show because of this guy being in it, I think it's weird. I think there's a lot of things that, you're probably enjoying your cell phone that is probably got a battery mined by a slave child or something like that, and you're probably enjoying that for the most part. But I'll make our choices where we can. So if you don't want to watch it for that reason, that's okay. Can't force you. I'm not going to fault you for it. But I do think it is important to understand a lot of the context of things. So the guy, what's his name? Tomer Capone, actual last name Capone. So there's a story that he did an interview, I guess, a couple of years ago that's been, popping back up lately. And it's understandable why, but it's definitely in order to talk about any of this stuff, I think everybody needs to, before you engage in any of this, or you kind of process like this, the new thing that's being discussed in regards to Israel and stuff, you got to think about who the players are going to be in the discourse every single time. There's going to be somebody represented, a few different types of people represented, and you need to make sure that you understand what everybody's angle is, and you need to understand your own emotional bias, which, like I'm saying, it's not invalid to have that. Everybody's got it, but just understanding how that might play on your understanding is important. But so, for example, this quote has been plucked out of this interview and is just going around devoid of context, and it's being presented as if he is out here bragging about this. And I think it's, if you can go look at the interview, but I mean, even before I did, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is not bragging. Have you seen the quote, Bob?
I have not seen the quote, no.
Let me pull it up here. Oh, no, not image. I want to share my screen. So the quote is about he basically tells a few different anecdotes of things that he had to do while he was in the IDF. Okay. And I'm pretty confident that he's not doing any of it as like, yeah, this was awesome. We were awesome for this. Okay. Maybe you get a different read, but what? All right. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Where the hell is? Okay. In the middle of the night, you enter a family's house. You're not aggressive, but the family won't let you take their 18-year-old daughter out easily. And a struggle starts, pushing, cursing, and we tear her apart and drive off. So this is about this is a quote about his time, not specifically whenever I think the 2006 invasion of Lebanon that Israel did, where they were very much the aggressors by default. So, you're not being aggressive. I think, I understand what he's trying to say there, but like, it's not. Do I think that this is at all accountable from what I've seen? Not really. No, I don't think so. But I also think that he's talking about something that, and if you know me, if you ever heard me talk about trauma and stuff, I'm never going to try to present anybody's as like worse or less or better or more powerful or more valid than anybody else's trauma or anything like that. Okay. I think that's kind of a fruitless endeavor to engage in that kind of shit. But yeah. So what do you think? It sounds pretty bad, right?
The description of his actions is very bad, but I do not read this as bragging. A lot would depend on having to hear the audio and also of the audio of his interview, and also to see what he said before and after this to provide some context. So I don't see him bragging about it, but it's also not good what he's describing that he did here.
the tone of the interview, which we can look at if you guys want to, you know, the general tone of this part of the interview is him explaining how fucked up it was to be an IDF.
Okay.
And that this is, and like I said, you know, not to take away the absolute certainty that these families were, you know, this is not just a one-off example. This is just apparently something they were doing, like going to houses where they had 18-year-old daughters there and just taking them for some reason. I'm not sure what that's about. Fucking man, these ethno states get up to some weird business, but yeah. So this is, I think, him expressing something that was, you know, probably not in the moment wasn't traumatic for him, but like when, you know, when you kind of get out of that context and you're done with it and stuff, I imagine there's a lot of Israeli former IDF people that are not so proud of certain shit.
Yeah.
That they were
Also, if you read the quote carefully, and again, I haven't read the interview, so I don't know, but these two sentences are not him saying I did these particular things. This is just an example of things that the IDF does.
Well, yeah.
Now, I'm sure he did do this thing. He probably did do this thing, or he wouldn't reference this, or at least he knows somebody who did this.
I mean, kind of, I would take the assumption that him framing it this way is a way of, even though he probably almost certainly did do this type of thing because it was what they were told to do, the way he's saying it is a way of like kind of making it not him in saying it, not like he's trying to not be accountable, but like it's for his own sake, almost kind of. He does,
yeah, like he's trying to distance himself from what he did.
And I, you know, and I see people in posts on Reddit talking about this, literally just saying, you know, this is the same thing as Nazis. You know, he's just a Nazi. So if you wouldn't have any empathy for a Nazi, blah blah blah, and then you see people really not understanding history at all or knowing history, because they'll go, well, you know, you can't say that they were just following orders because, you know, that's what the Nazis said, and we didn't go easy on them. And it's like, yes, we did.
Yeah.
If you were under the impression that the Nazis, other than literally 22 officers were punished, there were a lot more that were held and imprisoned and stuff like that, that after a couple of years they were let go because they were just following orders. So it's like, it is partially true that to say we're just following orders it's absolutely not morally a defense of anything. But in legally for 22 guys it wasn't either. But the rest of them, yeah, kind of was. You know what I mean? And it's just, I fucking hate that this shit is so you know, I hate that it exists. That's what I hate.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the consequences of having a slave army, which is what a conscription is. You are enslaved to be in the military. Is that you will be forced to participate in, or at least be complicit with, war crimes, whether you want to or not. And that doesn't make it okay, but it, you know, you still probably going to carry a lot of guilt for that. And if you're on the losing side, there's going to be tribunals and stuff that you may find yourself in front of. But I find it a little too easy to quickly dismiss people who are part of a conscripted army to make them a symbol of what their nation is doing. Like this guy, if he did this, he's a war criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. But war crimes are graded on a curve, and the bigger war criminal is the person in charge, the government in charge, who made him do these things.
And that's where you know, to me, once you start zeroing in on individuals, you know, like I remember feeling this way, even though I don't like Gal Gadot, her acting sucks, and she's, you know, who knows what she did, but I just, it feels weird to just zero in on a celebrity because you happen to know that person, it was in the IDF and they were in, you know, and they're famous. It's just like, okay, it's kind of missing the point in a way. You know, focus on, you know, talk about Israel, talk about the literal you know, conscript army that they force their citizens to go, no, you're going to be complicit in this evil shit too, so that way you just kind of have to live with it like the rest of it. You know what I mean?
I would want to hear him and Gal Gadot say something publicly against whatever they did, rather than just say, give like a neutral description like this particular quote is. I would like to hear him publicly say, look, what they made me do is fucked up. I'm deeply pained by what they made me do. It's something like that. then I could give him more grace than I'm giving him now. I'm giving him some, but the bare minimum.
I mean, I think it's, there's there's reasons to give some and reasons to not absolutely not give any. The fact that he isn't just making it clear that he's disgusted with the fact that this happened or he did this or whatever it was, and whatever else he might have done, and he's not couching everything that he says about his time with IDF in that, like, holy shit, you won't believe, I can't believe I did that shit, and it's so fucked up what's going on right now, that this is, that kind of language would be ideal for him to be using when if he talks about this stuff, but because he's not, it's not great.
Well, now that somebody dug up this quote, maybe in the next day or so, he will come out and say something. Maybe what he says will be good. Maybe it won't, but I don't.
Well, so far, I don't know what he was doing with this, because it's weird. Like, he has responded with a image several times. He's posted the same image since this has come out.
Okay, well, fuck him. If that's his response.
Well,
fuck him.
Okay, but hold on. The image that's by far, from what I can tell, the image that is going around on social media is not that one that we just looked at. It's a different image, and I think I'm not quite sure but it seems it's shared by an account that is it's called a Zionist Tracker, and I think there's maybe a little bit more focused on something besides just Zionism.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying at the beginning of this, is like, be sure you're aware of who wants to activate that very valid, this fucking upsets me to see that it was, you know what I mean? Because there are people that know that you will get upset by it, and they're going to try and activate that for reasons that you don't necessarily agree with them on, right?
Yeah. The big downside of being an anti-Zionist is that the rhetorical territory of using Zionist as a pejorative has been colonized by the right wing for so long that even I, as an anti-Zionist, am reluctant to use the phrase anti-Zionist for fear of, or I don't quote accounts who have the word Zionist or anti-Zionist in their name, because I cannot speak to the veracity of their background or the chain of custody, as it were, of their claims. I wish there was another word to use that could clear up the distinction between whether you're anti-Zionist because you're left-wing and believe in universal human rights, or are you anti-Zionist because you just don't like Jews. And I haven't found one. Anti-Zionist is the easy one, the most accurate one, but the whole discourse is polluted from the prior decades.
So here's a little bit more context about this interview, and just this one fact is kind of, I don't know how much it changes, if anything, but this is a translated interview. The whole interview was done, I guess, in Hebrew or whatever languages. So it was not in English in the first place. So I don't know if that makes any of the word choices in the translation any better, worse, or what. But so when he was conscripted into the Israel Defense Force in 2004, he first served as a soldier before being promoted to squad leader with the IDF's 202nd Battalion of the Paratroopers Brigade. He served during the 2006 Lebanon War. 2006, I think, invasion of Lebanon, right? Like,
yes.
After the realization flooded Twitter, people dug through old interviews of his. So people digging through old interviews to look for things that, which once you find out, oh, he was in the IDF, we're going to find some shit that we can use. If so, you're looking for it, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be something. In the translated interview, he said, in the middle of the night, you enter a family's house. You're not aggressive, but the family doesn't let you get their 18-year-old daughter out easily. And a fight starts, pushing, cursing, and we tear her apart and drive off. Tear her apart sounds pretty fucking vicious. I think that's where maybe some of the translation is wonky, because I think he means tearing her apart. They're tearing her from her family, which is still fucking hideous.
Yeah. The whole quote is messed up, because listen to the first sentence. We enter their house, but we're not aggressive.
Yeah.
Yes, you fucking are.
Oh, you're IDF. You're just aggressive, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. Now I understand what he's trying to say there is that we entered their house.
They probably entered and were like, "Hey, we're taking your daughter." They maybe weren't beating them up at first or something. Who knows? But still, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
how
I think what he's imagining, I think what he's trying to convey is that imagine he's like a cop, right? And he's trying to say, well, we entered the house with a legal warrant and we didn't use force at first, but they resisted arrest and we had to get rough. That's what he's trying to say. But that's the equivalent
shooting, totally
And that doesn't make it okay, but that's like him trying to frame it in a way that law and order people, and who perhaps include himself, would be sympathetic to.
Let's see. Okay. We arrive, we take her out of the car. She's handcuffed and I grab her by the arm and she doesn't struggle. But she lets go of my grip, signaling me to give her a hand more gently. Her eyes are, of course, covered with flannel. I bring her into the room, put her in, and see other girls inside who look more or less the same. So, yeah, and then they close the door in your face. So that is very much from his perspective. Sounds like he's experiencing this for the first time as well, and he's not even sure what the fuck is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he might, he's a squad commander, so maybe he knows more than he says, but I don't know. I wish I understood even what this was. What are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, what happened to these girls?
I would guess that putting a bunch of teenage girls in a locked room, blindfolded, and then walking away does not end well for the teenage girls.
No, it does. I wish I could think of something, like they got a prize or something, but I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the interview, while discussing military action in the West Bank city of Nablus, he recalled the next day someone is arrested and a weapon is found in his drawer. You and your friends attack him. You beat him up. The next day, we went into a week-long operation inside the Nablus Kasbah, and I'm the commander. Children threw stones at us, and there were disturbances, and my friend fired a bullet. Pressure, chaos, and lots of moments of disruption, of pranks at the checkpoints. Impatience, the most banal stories. Someone is transporting fruit, so you disassemble the entire truck and open all the watermelons for him, make jokes, or take him a bag of fruit without him even knowing and tell him, come on, drive, just because you've been there for hours and you feel like dying. So none of this is good, man, as far as just the fact that it even happens, but I get a sense that like this is him kind of processing this shit. He's how old is he now? How old was he then? Pretty sure he's probably 18, 19 or some shit then. Once again, not making
it looks like he's in his 30s now, to me, based on that photograph. So he would probably have been in his early 20s or late teens at the time.
So a lot of this is just, I saw people in Reddit were like, well, he could have chosen to just not do it and to just leave. And it's like, okay, that's true. He could have. If the choice was as simple as that, he didn't. But it's not as simple as that. I hate to say it. When you're born in this culture and raised in this culture, and everything is around you is telling you that this is the way things are or whatever. Even if there is like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm fuck this. I'm refusing this orders or refusing to do this or whatever. They punish you for it. You know what I mean? They put you in prison. I know that's one of the things that they'll do. And then I think I even saw where somebody said that if they'll put you in prison for a while, and then whenever they're ready to get you out, they will still make you choose to go into the IDF.
Yeah,
but
I mean, as people who say this, there's two things I'm of two minds about it. Number one, I'm not going to disagree that they could leave. They could take that risk, which is a big risk. And that's probably the moral standard we should, in an ideal world, we should hold them to. On the other hand, could you have easily fled the country when you were 18? How easy would that have been for you? Right? And
it'd be hard.
Yeah. Especially if you were living in a police state, which we increasingly are. But in 2006, we really weren't. And he was living in a police state that's been a police state for decades.
Since
And
its
is-
inception.
Yeah, and had at least for, well, I mean, a police state from the perspective of its own citizens, not from the occupied people, but from the Israelis themselves have been living under an effective police state like for decades now, and it has control of a much smaller piece of land than our country does, right?
Right.
So he has less distance to travel to get out of the country, but it's exponentially harder for them to do so.
They have probably more effective and deadly devices and mechanisms for keeping things in and or out for that nation than probably any other nation. You know.
So to add something to the conversation, I think part of the people's reaction when it comes to someone like this who served in the IDF but was not in a decision-making role at the end of the day, right? Like, he's just another conscript. It's easy to sort of moralize in his direction because you think that you would be immune to the propaganda and that you would have the courage to exfiltrate yourself from your home country and everything you know and love.
And you would have stopped the 9/11 hijackers on the plane if you were on it.
Right. Exactly. And the reason we do that is because the scary truth is odds are you wouldn't. And that's fine. That's why we need to dismantle these systems.
Mm-hmm.
But math is you wouldn't, right? Like,
yeah, and we may unfortunately be finding out in the near future because of what the Trump administration is apparently planning to institute automatic registration for the draft for the Selective Service in December.
Yep.
Which does not mean, I want to clarify, that does not mean they are about to start drafting people.
That just means you have to be registered to be drafted.
Yeah. For those who don't know, and apparently many don't.
Many do not.
In the United States, it has been the law for decades, I think since at least World War II, that when a person assigned male at birth reaches the age of 18, they are required by law to register with the Selective Service, which is the system they use to call up people in the event of a draft. So what the Trump administration is doing in December is making that process automatic. So you do not have to be proactive about it. They'll just automatically add it to all of your data and records and stuff.
Meanwhile, they're also trying to prevent any mail-in ballots from happening in the election. So I wonder if any of that's related, what they're planning. What's the bigger picture, guys? I just don't see it.
Yeah. So like if this was done under any other administration, it would be far less suspicious because it's just like a clerical adjustment thing. But given the context of who's in power right now and what they're doing across the world, it's extremely, it's not extremely alarming, I don't think, but it is alarming.
Well, I would add a level of alarm to it just because of who we're selling our defense data to.
Yeah.
Like, here is every military age man in the country. We can sell that data now, right? I mean, we, the United States government, will not sell it, but we have already licensed it to companies who will then go on to sell it, because of course they will.
Yeah, and this administration will not exempt trans women or non-binary people who are of the age range. No. They're going to consider you a man for purposes of the draft.
If you're somebody who feels has maybe put off, dealing with any kind of like potentially concerning mental health, ongoing mental health issues that you feel you might have, now's the time to go ahead and get those on record.
Get diagnosed. Yeah, like it.
Yeah,
for trans folks, it's really a no-win scenario, right? Because trans people can't serve in the military, but they're just going to pretend you're not trans.
Yep.
And then either force you to serve as a man or jail you as a deserter for refusing to serve as a man, and they're going to put you in a men's military prison.
Mm-hmm. Also, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's go ahead.
with regard to mental illness, I do know that as of 5 years ago, because I have a friend who was in the military 5 years ago, you are not exempt if you have a functional level of ADHD, autism, or depression.
Yeah.
If you have if those conditions, if those conditions can be managed, you are not exempted.
And also, what an exemption or being a conscious objector means does not mean that you are relieved of the requirement of service, but that you will likely be forced into a different role, a non-combat role in the military, because it turns out, despite what Pete Hegseth thinks, most of the military jobs are non-combat roles in the supply chain. Effectively, it's
I'm glad
logistics.
you mentioned him, because I have something here that I figure, we could take a look at it just to remind ourselves what military we're talking about here. Like, you should absolutely take this potential threat to your liberty and agency seriously. Sorry about that beep sound. You should take it seriously and do what you can to be aware and prepared and whatnot. But also, the people that are doing this, man. So here, sorry, what the hell was that thing? All right, wait.
What?
What? Sorry. I'm looking for the thing. I thought
just
I had
gonna
it
tease you a little bit.
Trying to make sure I know where it's at. Give me a minute. Sorry.
No problem. While you're looking, just to vamp a little bit, this whole story about automating the selective service registration really just it should be a reminder to everyone that we could have done this with voter registration.
Yep.
Decades ago. And all of this poppycock about voter fraud and mail-in ballots would be even less defensible now than it is.
Yep.
I would like to add quickly about registering as a conscientious objector. If you are between the ages of 18 and 24 right now, at this very moment, and you are someone that the government would consider male, regardless of what you consider yourself, or regardless of what you are, sorry. It is in your best interest to start keeping a handwritten journal right this second, philosophizing about your opposition to war in all of its forms. Because if you want to register as a conscientious objector, and your answer is, I am opposed to this war, X,
they don't care
because of economic reasons, but I would gladly have fought the Nazis.
Yeah,
you do not qualify. You have to be morally opposed.
Maybe you backdate a little bit, just to kind of
cover things. So the more interviews with people that because first of all, there will be a hearing.
Yeah.
If there is a draft and you say you're a conscientious objector, you will be sent to a military court for a hearing. And
unless if you're rich, if you got $1 million,
that's the other thing.
You just say you got bone spurs.
I'm speaking from experience here. I didn't go to a tribunal because there was no draft. But when I turned 18, I registered as a conscientious objector, and these were the things, or I tried to. They wouldn't let me because I failed, and these were the things that were required of you. You had to be able to prove that you had a long history of being like a peace activist or something like that, and that your opposition to war is guided by a moral principle that is as overwhelming in your life as a religion would be.
And given the fact, the sole member of Masturbators for Peace,
and given the fact that most people who are being drafted are 18 and don't have such a long history,
right?
The best way to prove that you have these beliefs is to have a handwritten record and have a lot of conversations with people in your life, friends, family, lovers, whoever, that they are going to call as character witnesses. Start talking to them right now about your moral opposition to all forms of violence, period. Even if you don't actually believe that, behave like you do for the next several years.
Find some Quakers. Get to be good friends with some Quakers. Study that philosophy.
and then make
Is-
some oaths.
is-
I guess I don't know what the
As
what's that-
far as Christian sects go, they're basically one of the good ones.
Yeah, you don't have to be. So I want to be clear. The law does not require you to actually be religious in the
Right.
conventional sense, but the moral principle you put forward has to be as
That level.
systematic and intrusive into your life as a religion would be. So you have to be like a really committed humanist and
Mhm.
do like charity work and shit like that, driven by that ethical commitment.
Well, so check this out.
Your own mother saying this about you. Just a few years ago in 2018, the man currently in charge of the United States military, Pete Hegseth, was going through his second divorce. And in the midst of all of that, well, his mother wrote him a letter. And I'm going to read it to you in its entirety, and I promise it's worth sticking around to the very end, because it really does highlight exactly who this guy is. Son, I have tried to keep quiet about your character and behavior, but after listening to the way you made Samantha feel today, I cannot stay silent, and as a woman and your mother, I feel I must speak out. You are an abuser of women. That is the ugly truth, and I have no respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and uses women for his own power and ego. You are that man, and have been for years. And as your mother, it pains me and embarrasses me to say that. But it is the sad, sad truth. I am not a saint, far from it, so don't throw that in my face. But your abuse over the years to women, dishonesty, sleeping around, betrayal, debasing, belittling, needs to be called out. Sam is a good mother and a good person, under the circumstances that you created. And I know deep down you know that. For you to try to label her as unstable for your own advantage is despicable and abusive. Is there any...
So yeah, typical conservative mentality, but I think that in order to be where Pete Hegseth is, you have to be very adept at performing this in a way that other men respect. Other men like this respect, right? Like you have to be a piece of shit in a performative way that like somebody like Donald Trump is like, fuck yeah, that's my guy right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
sense of decency left in you? She did not ask for or deserve any of what has come to her by your hand. Neither did Meredith. That was his first wife. I know you think this is one big competition and that we have taken her side. We are on the side of good, and that is not you. Go ahead and call me self-righteous. I don't care. Don't you dare run to her and cry foul that we shared with us. That's what babies do. It's time for someone, I wish it was a strong man, to stand up to your abusive behavior and call it out, especially against women. We still love you, but we are broken by your behavior and lack of character. I don't want to write emails like this and never thought I would. If it damages our relationship...
How did she get these? How did these emails get known is what I want to know. Because this seems...
They were leaked a couple of years ago. This was all leaked publicly when he was being nominated for...
Yeah.
See, I've been looking into that shit. I just knew that, like, I honestly, I was just like, he's that Fox News guy. Fuck him. Like, no. And then I knew he had...
So this is... He is the... Not even, like... Okay, so, like, obviously, by the time Trump was back in office, Tucker Carlson was up. But, like, on some... Let's take Sean Hannity. Okay, let's take Sean Hannity. On some level, Sean Hannity is a well-known figure in Fox News. I can see the propaganda value of putting him in some secretary position somewhere in the executive branch. Pete Kegsbreath was a Sunday host.
Oof.
Not a headliner. He is the backup singer to the backup singer to the understudy.
Yeah, he was picked because he's incompetent.
Yeah.
Because incompetent people are so thirsty for their position that they won't contradict the guy in charge.
And also, by this point, everybody knew that, like, Trump is going to, anything that goes wrong, I'm going to get all of it thrown on me. And he absolutely will not take the bullet with me. You know what I mean?
No.
It has to be somebody that's that stupid and you know, just, but also just willing to, so naive, like, I will do it for you, sir. I'll, you know, that kind of fucking shit. Patriotic, but even worse than patriotic, because it's patriotic just to Trump, basically.
Well, I also think that I think someone like him is stupid enough to believe that, like, Trump is as dumb as he is, and that Trump, like, wouldn't throw him under the bus. Like, he has to think he's gonna do too good a job, right?
Pete Hegseth is fucking stupid. He's also very much, you know, indoctrinated into, you know, white nationalism, Christian nationalism, And
Yuppers.
he so believes that shit. Like, you can tell when he talks about stuff. Anytime he talks, it's like, this guy believes this crap he's saying. It's upsetting. Just because you're a grown man, dude. Anyway.
Because you have to grow old, but you never have to grow up.
Yeah.
And
So there's that.
He is fucking proof of that, baby.
Yeah. Look, for a little palate cleanser here, I've got this.
What the heck is this?
Is it pet smart or pet smart? Are you saying that pets are smart, or are you saying you're a mark for pets?
What the fuck?
This goes unnecessarily hard.
I don't know why that got me so hard, but it did. Dane, you were awarded 1 point. Spend it wisely.
Oh, thank you. So we can go a couple of different directions from here. We can continue on talking about, whatever. I've got some Benny Johnson stuff here.
So let's talk about Benny Johnson.
He has been spilt on him, maybe.
Benny.
Yeah, I heard it was,
I have been sitting on the receipts of you for far too long.
So this is one of Elon's baby mama, right?
This is one of Elon's baby mamas who has had a face turn the last year or so.
She seems incredibly intelligent. Like, it's honestly kind of baffling that she was ever MAGA. But like, I watched a few minutes of her talking and putting on makeup the other day, and I was like, holy shit, she's just rattling off shit that, And I'm not talking like for a woman. I'm saying for basically anybody that was MAGA at one point. She knows this.
Yeah, she was once much younger and much dumber than she is now, as we all were. So
it's true.
But I can see why Elon probably sought to impregnate her, because he can recognize when somebody's much smarter than him, and he wants to exploit that somehow.
He wants the good genes to counteract his very, very dubious ones.
So I don't know what this is really about. I know that I recognized her, and she,
it's if it's what I think it is, it's pretty good.
Okay, good.
You and your sociopathic behavior and the way you operate your businesses and your grift. So you want to go, Benny? You want to talk about my children and make this personal? Let's go.
Hold on, Benny Johnson? She's talking about Benny Johnson, friend of Nerdrotic?
That's the same Benny Johnson, yeah.
Wow, bold.
Because I have been sitting on this for far too long. And guess what? A lot of people have been sitting on things about you for far too long. What? And I will remind you that if you live in a glass house, stop throwing stones for your little Facebook dollars. TTFN, you're next. And Benny, I wouldn't even try to retroactively delete anything on Telegram because I backed it all up years ago, many, many moons ago. Because I've known you're a piece of shit. You see, Benny, it's really easy for anyone to admit that they have sex with men outside of marriage. We all like to get our whistle wet, okay? I'm less interested in that, though. I think everyone will be very interested in your financials and the story of how Benny Johnson came to be in the first place.
Okay.
TDF.
Before this goes any further, I just want to say that, like, we have on the Showcast and probably on the Fapcast looked at the odd instance of Benny Johnson just like jumping way up, like by a couple of million subscribers or something in a very short amount of time.
Yeah,
shortly after Trump's election the second time, and yet the engagement overall on this channel didn't seem to really grow with it.
That's weird. That's a weird. Wonder what that's about.
Yeah. I mean, that some people say there's only one explanation for that. I don't know. Maybe he's just really popular, but people don't like to talk to him or engage or something. I don't know. No, it's the only reason for that to happen is you're fucking botting your shit. You're buying engagement or views rather.
I think we have a winner from the comments section here. Jaybird S writes in, Benny does love those Johnsons.
It's right there. It's right there.
It's just, well done. It's a classic, but hats off to
also,
you.
like, I mean, you can look at so I gleaned basically all I needed to about Benny Johnson by looking at Nerdrotic and their kind of crossover with each other. I made a video about it. I've got a graphic that I did that shows that like anytime somebody would kind of lightly criticize Nerdrotic on Twitter or whatever, right? And then he would make a video, and then the other chuds would. This is standard operating procedure for these chuds. They go, "Oh, they're trying to get killed, and they're trying to attack him, trying to cancel Nerdrotic because they hate he's telling the truth or whatever." But Benny Johnson would also jump in on that, which pretty clearly just like
that's like a my friends in Zoidberg kind of situation, right? Like.
And it's weird because you look at Benny Johnson's content, and the only time I ever saw him talking about that kind of stuff was in direct relation to talking to or about Nerdrotic.
Yeah.
It's not like he was making videos on Star Wars otherwise. He wasn't. So it's just like kind of stands out as a very specific relationship. And then like for, whenever he hit his 2 million subscribers, they did a stream. Who did he have on his 2 million subscriber stream? Well, Gary, Nerdrotic, Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, Alex Jones, and it's just kind of starts to paint some kind of picture. It's not super duper clear yet, but there's a picture. So I just wonder how much of that is something that's going to be.
Yeah. For some reason, I've been sitting here humming the Russian national anthem.
Ashley St. Clair has been on a tear lately.
Well, I mean, also there's obviously the Tenet connection, right? That goes without saying that he was one of the guys that the handful of people that was benefiting from a relationship with Russia, with Putin's RT and shit. And like, I think I remember them saying that. So there was what's her name at the top of it?
Lauren Chen.
So she was aware. Her and her husband, I think, were very much aware of what they were doing with those business relationships. I would probably guess, if I'm being realistic, that all of them were aware.
I have to imagine.
But if not, there was definitely a mention of somebody else that was not Lauren Chen that was involved that was also aware of what the other end of that relationship was.
Oh, the Discord messages they found showed very explicitly that Benny Johnson and Tim Pool were explicitly aware that they were getting money from a producer, who was shaping their content or was asking them to shape their content.
Right. Well, that's
in
what
particular
I'm saying.
ways.
That's one thing, but knowing that person is actually operatives from RT and the Kremlin is another thing, right?
I think the Discords showed that too.
Okay.
Not in like, hello, I am your Russian spy.
Right.
I am your handler. Not like that, but like the context cues. Their only defense was either they're incredibly stupid and they couldn't see what the rest of us see.
Yeah.
Or they just knew what they were doing and didn't care.
And the way Tim Pool tried to play it off, like, yeah, man, I was just get this amount of money for making videos. Like, what's the big deal? It's like, oh, so that's just old hat for you. This is just a thing you're used to, right? Getting X amount of money to say certain things in videos, right? All right.
That's his whole business model.
Yeah.
That name sounds familiar to you. It might be because she had a stint as a right-wing influencer for a while, but it's most likely because she had a kid with Elon Musk. Earlier this year, she sued XAI because Grok kept making and sharing pornographic AI images and videos of her, oftentimes depicting her as much younger than she actually was. Ashley became a MAGA influencer in the early days of MAGA back in 2015, 2016. So at the time, if any of you remember, Obama was still president, but Donald Trump was just Donald Trump. And at the time, he was very critical of Obama and his presidency on Twitter. It's where, for example, he kept calling Obama's nationality into question, planting the seeds for the much more overtly racist rhetoric that we're unfortunately very used to hearing and seeing today. Some of us said that type of questioning and thinking was the problem back then, and we said that it would only get worse in the coming years. 10 years later, we were right. So Trump also railed against, for example, the Iran nuclear deal back then. When he became Obama's successor in the White House, he then dismantled the deal and...
Wow. Can you scroll up? Can you take the video back a little bit?
Also, Dane, I could tell you were speaking over the video, but we could not hear what you said.
Did he have Benny Johnson on, or did Benny Johnson have them on to discuss how gay Star Wars is? Because are they becoming were just like for that one moment, were they self-aware?
I think that one was because of the actor and the director of Acolyte saying that it was, you know, kind of just and somewhat jokingly in an interview being like, oh, it's the gayest Star Wars thing ever, and so they just ran with that. They absolutely ran with that as if that was official, Star Wars branding or something. My voice has been oppressed. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if it's your mic or the app or whatever, but every time that you in particular, and maybe Morgan and I too, try to speak over a video while it's playing, we can't hear you. We can hear you. We hear more.
It's probably for the best. You know, you don't need nobody to hear me really ever. So there's that. I just wanted to highlight it because I mean, really, it's a lot, man. A lot of crossover, and you can tell they do a 1-for-1 type thing too, basically, because if they do a video on his channel, there's going to be a video on theirs, and you know, and that's gaming the algorithm for one thing, because then you have 2, possibly 3 channels covering the exact same topic, and then they get to, you know, that's that cross promotion that put chud content at the, you know, forefront of all this stuff in the first place.
Yup.
So yeah, there's the 2 million stream there, and all the chuds that ended up on that. Added up, Gary and Will collaborated with Benny a total of a fuckload of times, all in the span of less than 2 years. Most happened in the last year.
Is that a scientific term, a fuckload?
It's a mathematician's metric, yes.
Oh, sure, okay.
Only if it's a metric fuckload, then it's scientific.
Oh, right.
Otherwise it's just the imperial system.
That's bullshit.
All right, back to the T. Let's see what happens with that.
Later, we are now at war with Iran on behalf of Israel. So all of this was happening on social media, on Twitter specifically. And if you were on Twitter back then, you might recall that it was a very, very different place compared to what it is today. When Trump started using it to push his MAGA movement, there was a distinct shift in the way Twitter felt, but also in the way it was used. Trump learned early on that if he said something very inflammatory on Twitter, the news would cover it, and in the game of politics, like in the media and entertainment landscapes, all press is good press. News organizations seeking to be critical of Trump only succeeded in platforming his rhetoric further, essentially promoting him as a presidential candidate.
I feel this is kind of unfocused now. What's she talking about Twitter so much for?
I'm not sure.
I think this is what TYT does. They hide, they bury the lead, to put it in journalistic terms, so they can create filler content that hits the ad revenue requirement.
I will push back a little bit. I don't entirely disagree. I agree. I see the approach the same way, but also different, because, so for example, who is it? I think Keith Edwards does a similar thing.
Yeah, I should not have singled out TYT. You're right. This is just the way the game is played.
Like it does annoy me, and it frustrates me, and I sometimes just don't even watch these kind of content once I realize it's what they're doing. But at the same time, I think it kind of gives viewers who might just be watching for the sensational thing, it kind of gives them a little extra thing that they probably
need.
Right.
Also, hats off to TYT for still platforming brown people. I didn't know they did that.
Oh,
other than Cenk Uygur.
With uteruses
right.
Too.
Yeah, that I believe she's. I don't tell what's her nuts that. I can't think of her name.
Anna Kasparian.
Thank you. See, like, you know how I have that problem, that mental disorder where I can't tell chuds apart.
Yeah.
Chud blindness. Yeah.
I have my chud blindness. Yeah, it's actually started to metastasize into a worse condition where I also can't tell turfs apart.
Oof.
It's like they all sound the same and look kind of the same. Yeah, you get it.
Well, I mean, I just worry because, like, what if you happen to, come across J.K. Rowling or something, you don't even recognize the threat in front of you.
You see, I think that's an efficient evolutionary adaptation that just leads you to avoid all turfs.
Yeah.
Right. They're all the
It doesn't
function.
it doesn't matter what the difference between them is.
Yeah, they're all, may as well just be TERFs, I guess. They're all fucking the same.
All right, so I'm gonna just fast forward to where Ashley is putting on her makeup.
Years being brought in to work with Turning Point USA. All of that said, Ashley St. Clair offered some insight into exactly this in a post that she made just a few days ago. She said she was a MAGA influencer for about 10 years, being brought in to work with Turning Point USA, fresh out of college at just 19 years old.
In 2015-2016, MAGA and their operators realized how important and consequential social media was for politics. This really started during the Obama years when they harnessed the internet and email campaign messaging, and then MAGA took it to the next level with things like Cambridge Analytica and coordinated messaging on sites like Twitter. Their main avenues for this influence are group chats, paid influence campaigns, and parties.
Okay. So
now, for the group chats, they operate.
Was, passing around in the various servers the other day because I was like watching this video of hers and thinking, man, this would kind of explain perfectly the incentive and kind of like the framework for the system of like how all these chuds, for example, always have the exact talking point very quickly. Like, I'm pretty confident in saying that guys like Jeremy Griggs, if there wasn't something incentivizing him and making it a streamlined process, he wouldn't be so on top of whatever the current fucking day discourse talking point is.
Right.
I mean, like, they're not that quick on the uptake generally.
I mean, there's that video that y'all have shared before about them in one of their Friday night streams talking about how that's exactly how things are, is they pick something and they make it their whole personality for the next, chunk of time.
Yeah. And it's very obvious that they are, at least the ringleaders are in a group chat before they go on any live stream with each other where they coordinate their talking points, and they all release videos across multiple channels with the exact same talking points and sometimes the exact same language.
I'm saying that like there's something there's some kind of a stream from outside that biosphere of chuds.
Oh yeah.
More directly to politics, from politics leading into that as well.
Almost certainly, yeah.
And that's what I think is probably happening here. I mean, she's just straight up saying it, like you can get into, these chats and such and make money. They'll pay you to just, disseminate their talking points.
Well, and there's a reason why, every leftist content creator has made the observation, and some have more than just the observation that boy, it would be really easy to put out a why I left the left video and rake in the fucking money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all know that's where the money is.
I mean, never mind the fact that almost every example of that is somebody that, not all, but a lot of them is like, wait, who were you before this? I never heard of you. I've never seen anything. I still can't find anything where you were on the left, but okay.
Yeah. And the sad irony is that this is what collective action looks like for people who are content creators on the left. I keep seeing them all having their own individual channel and often complaining that they can't break through in the algorithm. Why does the right keep getting platformed? And this is why. Because they have these meetings where they all say the exact same thing at the exact same time, for like a week. And that's how they break through. It's not
really collective action because they're not all doing it for, I mean, it is technically, but it's not in the way that we think of it and we would like to do it, because what it really is more action for the action's sake, which is a fascist thing.
Well, it's both. Yeah. I mean, fascism is a collectivist to an extent. It's a collectivist movement, and it's collectivist in the sense that they mobilize millions of faceless people to do and say the exact same thing. But in this particular case, when it comes to messaging, this is how you get a message to break through the algorithm, is have a whole bunch of people coordinate their talking points and make their content or whatever about more or less the same thing all at the same time.
Nonstop, forever.
I see a lot of lefty content creators who've all now fled to Nebula complained because they were, and I don't fault them for being this, because I kind of lean the same way, but they were all like art school, film school, video essayists who are trying to do their individual artistic expression thing, which is perfectly valid, but it's not the way that you dominate the discourse. And I've always found it ironic that the people who are, that the right wingers who are ideologically opposed to collectivism are often better at collective organizing than are the leftists who are supposedly in favor of it.
It's the Kurt Cobain effect. It's the Kurt Cobain mentality where it's like Kurt Cobain wanted to and knew how to write songs that were very catchy, very pop friendly, very radio friendly, and yet he also wanted to kill that part of himself and that type of music in general, because he just, so he was very conflicted on that, and that's kind of what the lefty artistic integrity approach is. And I've dealt with it. I've fucking struggled with it. Where it's like, is this really what I want to do? And it's like, does that matter? And no, because that's not why I started making content in the first place. So even though I got let myself get kind of down that lane a couple of times, but I would always be like, no, this isn't why you started doing this, man. You wanted to, have an effect and reach people with ideas, not just like satisfy your artistic fucking urges or whatever.
And it's like, it's totally valid to satisfy your artistic urges, right? That's kind of the whole point of being a content creator or any other kind of artist, I think.
Sure, but
that's fine. But if your goal is not to do that, if your primary goal is to break through the discourse, then you have to cooperate with other people. And hurting leftist content creators is like hurting cats, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so I found this. I forgot about this little 30-second summary.
U.S. prosecutors allege a media company linked to conservative influencers who regularly reach millions, including Benny Johnson, was secretly funded by Russian state media employees.
And a little busy this week in the old news section of the internet.
Russian village boys. Russian village boys.
Wow.
Russian village boys. Yeah.
Just wow.
Look, this is how I got my artistic kicks right here. This kind of shit. By making images.
I appreciate the Russian roulette implication.
Right. I was like, what can I do? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. One of them's got the two of them got the Soviet hats. One of them's got the fuzzy hat.
Hat. Gary does not deserve to wear the Yushanka. It's much too cool of a hat to be on his head.
That's fair.
I mean, look, just the thing is, the next panel after this, you may have guessed, he's not wearing it anymore. So
he did not, in fact, spin to win.
Have they coordinated, or have they collaborated with Benny Johnson since all of this happened?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they've been I'm sure they've been on each other, but I don't know that they did like with this, where they literally went to LA to a studio and sat there with him and talked about how they'd won against the woke Hollywood machine or whatever.
I'll be right back, gents.
Sure. I know that they've all been taking credit for the death of Starfleet Academy recently, but
Eric DeBunks, once again, he made a video that's like, okay, man, so it wasn't that bad then. If you guys had to do something about it to get it off the air or whatever, then it wasn't that bad. And that means you kind of just went at it because you wanted to, not because it was just objectively bad. Because if it's objectively bad, people wouldn't really want to watch it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think I haven't watched his video yet, but I think what I've seen them do, or I haven't seen them doing this, what I suspect they're doing is taking credit for the show being canceled, but also complaining that people are blaming them for the show being canceled.
Oh, yeah. If it wasn't for double standards, they'd have no standards at all. It's just the way it goes. I mean, sometimes the chuds will just outright say the thing that they, like this example here. Happened to see this just now.
People give you guys to own me. Can we split it on the DL? I mean, I'll say some more incendiary things that'll send leftists packing towards giving you guys donations if you'd like. We can work out a whole big scam behind the scenes. Let me
I
know.
thought we already did. I thought it was
That's right. Yeah.
You know, he's saying it's a joke, but like, I don't know, it sounds like you're pretty confident in that that strategy there, EBS, you know?
Yeah. It's the Schrodinger's asshole move.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. You say something offensive and you don't decide whether you were kidding until you see how the people you said it to react to it.
Yeah, I got let's see, because it was kind of weird at the beginning of this, so I'm going to show this again.
He literally peed his pants, and I'm not joking. So if you look down in Steve Bannon's crotch right there, you can see that he has pissed his pants.
It could be that he simply is, like Bob said, a sweaty sausage man, and that, you know, that is a place where sweat can pool for sure if he's been walking around the convention or whatever and stuff.
That's a lot of sweat, though.
It is a lot. It would be a lot. It's kind of wild that fucking wet. It's kind of crazy.
In Steve Bannon's crotch.
That is quite a lot.
I love those ladies. I love how they've like been radicalized into Antifa wine moms, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, and they I feel like they probably you know, stand for a lot of people's experience in this administration in particular, where you're like, everybody started off that's even, you know, center left started off like, oh, this is going to be bad, Trump is terrible and stuff, but then, like, you know, as he becomes terrible and does the terrible things or doesn't do the things he should be doing and stuff like that, the system starts to erode around him, and then he's putting pressures on it in places that makes it just things so much clearer. It makes the Democrats and their fecklessness become clearer than it ever has. It makes, you know, and I'm really hoping that lots of people are kind of having similar experiences as those ladies, and to a certain degree, me, like, I mean, for me, all it's done. Like, I was already here with, like, generally thinking that, you know, the system is fucked and the Democrats suck and all that stuff. But, like, since basically COVID onward, there's been nothing but examples, like, cementing me and like, yeah, I'm very confident that this is probably the system working how it's supposed to be working actually right now, or how they want it to work. But at a certain point, that doesn't work anymore for them. It won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you lose the wine moms to the left, you have just lost, because that's kind of the backbone of the mainstream liberal Democratic Party is white wine moms, white suburban wine moms. And if they are all becoming Hassan stands like these two ladies are, then the Schumers of the world are doomed.
When you think about it, yeah, Jay Bird, like, for real, man, like, there's only one reason why they wouldn't. All they would have to do to be literal American heroes in history, you know, contemporary heroes and written as such. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, you know, all the leadership in the Dems. All they'd have to do is, like, basically anything more than they generally have been. You know what I mean? Some loud, consistent, you know, firm, you know, more than just writing a sternly worded letter, but, you know, like, constantly renouncing, you know, just all that stuff. Like, even if they wouldn't actually accomplish much because the system is rigged in such a way, and then the right, MAGA, is so, Trump and all those people are so fucking cynical and exploitative that they found the ways that the system can be used in this cynical way for their advantage. And, you know, so, like, on the one hand, it's like, I don't believe that there's a lot that could be done in terms of making certain things not, you know, Trump has shown that if he wants something to happen, he's going to make it happen, right? If he doesn't want to be accountable for things, he's not going to be. And yeah, but still, they could do anything more than what they have been, and it would be better. So the only thing that I can deduce from that, like, why wouldn't they do that? It seems like an easy win for them, even if they don't actually win. They could be seen as, like, valiant, you know, renegades or whatever. No, and that just has to be because they want it to be like this. They, you know, the option for them would be a breakdown or change of a system that they are absolutely fucking agents of and are committed to maintaining the status quo. So
Yeah, think about the origin of the phrase taco applied to Trump. It's the acronym for Trump always chickens out. It comes from Wall Street, where they were complaining about him and his tariff thing, and it was popularized by Chuck Schumer, who used it to criticize Trump for not being hard enough on Iran, excuse me. He was criticizing Donald Trump from the right when it comes to Iran and saying Trump always chickens out, no side deals with Iran without Congress's approval. So Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, Cory Booker, all these ghouls, they are in favor of what we're doing. They just know that they can't say that out loud and maintain the support of the base. So they're trying to have it both ways. And I want to highlight what Jay Kung said here for a second. Jay Kung said AIPAC pays them not to be productive. I would say no, AIPAC pays them because they are not productive. They would be this way even if AIPAC wasn't paying them, because they are ideologically committed to the project of the current state of Israel and the war in Iran. AIPAC, some people are motivated by lobbyist money, obviously. But what lobbyists are really good at is finding people who already are doing the things they want and just rewarding them for it. Yeah. So Chuck Schumer would be doing this anyway. Cory Booker would be doing this anyway, etc.
That's what I miss.
We solved capitalism, so we can all go home now.
Oh, cool. Bye. Come on.
We're all China maxing over here today.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. What is China? I'm so old. What is China maxing?
Well, it's like looks maxing, but you're China maxing.
Okay, so pretend
it's people yearning for socialism without realizing that's what they're doing.
Yes.
That's what China maxing is.
I thought we just called that yearning for socialism.
China maxing sounds cooler though.
Does it? Does it? Genuinely asking, I don't know what's cool. I'm basically the least cool person you've ever met.
What to celebrate how much we're maxing China. I got a little thing here. It's pretty great. So there's this YouTube channel called Torwai, I think it's maybe pronounced. I'm not sure what nationality or nation they are in, but they do these cover songs, and I'm not even going to describe it. I'm just going to show you. I'm sure some of you have seen it. These guys they bring me joy, like when I'm having like a stressful or whatever boring day, whatever it is, anything negative or not even just neutral, and I want to feel a little bit more positive. You go check these guys out.
I don't think it's us in my self-fighting suicide. I with ancient is so to
All right then.
In a while, he's like literally like screams because he thinks he might have set the place on fire. I know, right? It seems dangerous, but look, we can just watch and enjoy. They get hell views on this content, so I think they're doing okay. Maybe they've got some kind of. I'm sure they've got a
Do they do that in every video? They cook something and perform.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's intense.
It's just what they do. Yeah.
What are they called?
Torwai, I believe. Torwai.
Huh.
Yep.
I got nothing. I am but a simple person.
Me too. That's why that kind of thing makes me happy.
There you go.
So, have you guys ever seen a Star Wars fan before, or like has it been so long you forgot?
Unfortunately, Dan, I have bad news.
Mhm.
Every time I look in the mirror to like, get my face nice or like brush my hair, which it's all frizzy because it's storming out, so there's no controlling it right now. I see a Star Wars fan looking back at me. It's a little gross.
No, I know.
I once had a Star Wars fan, but the blades broke, and now I've had to replace it with a Star Trek fan.
None of us here are Star Wars fans. We're at least not as attractive as this Star Wars fan that we're about to hear from here.
Lucas's words, not mine. So you if you disagree with me.
Is this the perfect explanation of the Force? And did Freddie Prinze Jr. just spoil all future Star Wars stories?
The Force dictates who wins or loses based on balance. And here's the quick version on how to explain it to all these people who think they get to decide. In the first, if you want to do this like time-wise, Palpatine, you would say, and Yoda are the smartest too. Palpatine clearly smarter because Yoda was blind to the power of the dark side and the seduction of Anakin. So let's talk about the seduction of Anakin Skywalker for a second. If the Emperor is the smartest dude in the universe and knows that the Force dictates this, if he kills who he sees as a rival, Anakin, then he knows the Force is just going to correct that because the Emperor knows this. So instead of killing Anakin, what does he do? He seduces Anakin to double the strength of the dark side. So then what does the Force do? It balances us. How? It gives us twins, Luke and Leia, 2 and 2. Balance. And if you look at the movie through just that simple perspective, you will not only know why every single bad guy loses and every single good guy loses, you'll know who's going to win and lose in the next movies.
I mean, it's right.
Mr. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, everyone.
Process. First of all, Freddie Prinze Jr. Being a guy that's still around, and I've just forgotten about him, basically. That was one thing. Also, that he's such a massive Star Wars fan.
He is such a huge fucking Star Wars nerd that he played one of the lead characters in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, okay.
And he's married to Buffy the
Kanan
Vampire
Jarrus
Slayer.
Yeah, he's very into. Yeah.
R.I.P. to the Buffy reboot.
Yep. Rip.
But yeah.
Oh, are we going to talk about that now?
He's got a mouth on him. I didn't know that either. But like,
he's quite the sailor. Yeah, you do not hear that in Rebels though. Just kind of a shame because a Jedi that would just like drop hard F-bombs would be great.
Is this an older clip?
I think so.
Are you kidding me? What? Really?
I didn't know he was a writer too.
I did not know that either. Yeah, I'm gonna take a peek. You guys keep doing.
What'd you say, Jane?
IMDb, he's got awards 8.
Oh, Mikey just said they're kidding.
Oh, my bad.
Apparently, he did work with the WWE for a few years in the early 2000s. I did not know.
So he's written 4 things. Yeah, SmackDown, Saturday Night Main Event, a series called Freddy. I wonder what that's about. Oh, he wrote Mutant X, the 2003, absolutely not part of Marvel or X-Men related anything, but Mutant X, about mutants that go by the team called Mutant X. I don't know. That's weird.
I vaguely remember that show. Yeah.
Mutant X TV series.
Yep.
He's a writer on that.
3 seasons.
Was.
Creator Avi Arad. Weird.
That guy. Yeah.
Do you remember that show? It was basically the X-Men with the serial numbers filed off.
Stuff that he didn't own the rights to. Sorry, what?
I was just saying what you said. It was basically the X-Men with the serial numbers filed off.
Yeah.
The TV show, that is. I mean, I know Mutant X, I think, was a comic at some point. But the TV show Mutant X was just somebody trying to make the X-Men TV show without having the rights to it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Plus this is 2003, so there's also The Matrix is still casting a shadow over everything. That would be.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at the clips now they're playing, and there's like slow motion high kicks and stuff. Matrix was the thing.
I am still down for slow motion high kicks. I don't know. I'm a sucker.
Yeah, I mean that's what the Matrix is all about.
Yeah, I'm sure there's no other messaging in there or
in those movies to take from it, but the bullet time.
no.
I
Don't look up
For
what
me-
pill was read in the 90s. Don't do
For
it.
me, it depends. For me, it depends on the actual choreography. If slowing it down gives you a better view of what they're doing and how impressive it is, that's cool. But just having it be slow motion for the sake of having it be in slow motion because that's what the Matrix did is kind of cringe.
Yeah,
That's
for
fair.
sure.
Well,
But
I'm
we're
cringe, so it's fine.
not talking about any imitators. We're talking about the OG.
Yeah.
And then I'm also paying respects to the Resurrections because straight up, like, legitimately fucking love Lana for that. You know, they said Warner Brothers was like, we're gonna make we're gonna do Matrix again. We kind of, just to be nice, we're gonna give you first offering, you know, but we know y'all don't want to make any more. And she goes, no, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
And they're like, oh, okay, really?
Bet.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do what I wanted. Sure, yeah, of course. And then the movie, like the main thrust of the movie, the part that I think of when I think of it is literally arguments in the fucking boardroom about what the Matrix is.
Yeah.
And the part when I was like, bullet time, dude. It's all about bullet time.
Just that movie is a deconstruction of franchise movies, and I love it for it.
Yeah.
Is it a great movie?
As a
No.
hardcore Matrix fan from back in the day, it frustrated me that there wasn't more Matrix fighting and shit than there was. You know, the big meetup with Smith and Neo is kind of a letdown. You know, it's not even really Smith, it's just another guy playing him, and it's like, so there's just lots of stuff that didn't hit. But I'm also like, that's what she was doing on purpose, I think. You know what I mean?
I understand that it's a multi-million-dollar shitpost. By a woman who very much deserves to shitpost.
Yeah.
At that level. Like, as a movie, it's not great. I would say it's good. As a shitpost, perfection.
And here's the dirty little secret about the Matrix franchise. It never needed to be more than one movie.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Boy, howdy, you can tell.
I think if they took a couple of years to do the sequels, like, you know, after the first one, then took 2 years, 3 years between each one, maybe they could have gotten something a little bit more, you know, less flimsy with those sequels. But yeah, absolutely, the first movie is pretty much just a perfect singular movie.
Right. You have a perfect singular movie, a perfect shitpost, and then I don't know, egg salad in between. Like, it's edible, I guess.
Over the
Watch
years,
it.
I've come to love the sequels, the second and the third one, and like almost in, not at first despite, but then eventually because of their flaws in weird ways. Like I enjoy thinking about them in like the ways that they're fucked up when I do revisit them and stuff. I think Patrick Willems maybe did a video covering how he would do those differently, and it's actually really, really good. The ideas that he had and how, you know. Of course,
I haven't seen that one, but
Monday Morning Quarterback or whatever, a movie like that. But
yeah, the only thing I wanted them to do, this is my feeling about the original Matrix trilogy, is the first two are pretty good. I mean, the first one's great. The second one is good depending on what happens in the third one, and what happens in the third one is not that cool for me. Because what I thought they were going to do, watching the second movie and the way it ended, what it seemed like they were telegraphing there was that the so-called real world was just another level of the Matrix.
Right.
That the machines are created to funnel all of the rebellious people into and to fool them into thinking they were free when they were still slaves to the machine.
Yeah.
That's not what they did.
No.
So well, that's on me. That's my personal.
Well, I mean, I would say that like the fact that those movies very much that was the Wachowskis in the way that they I guess wanted to and understood to at the time to tell the world, like, hey, shit's actually more fucked up than you realize. You know what I mean? Like, you don't realize it yet. We're trying to show you. We're trying to, you know, kick the door open so you kind of look at the system and everything. And on top of that, and in tandem with that, it's a trans thing. You know,
it's
what I mean?
a trans thing. It's like there's levels to watching The Matrix. Like, oh, that's a problem. We have.
Did you just spot a glitch in the Matrix?
No, we have ants.
Oh no.
Well, that happens when they change something.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
That's
well,
I remember that scene in the movie. Yeah.
Shit. All right. Well, that's going to be future me's problem. I don't know. Well, it's because we had a storm, and I'm sure bugs are looking for any crack in a door they can find. So, fuck. All right. Anyways, being a homeowner is great. I love it.
Get yourself some diatomaceous earth and spread it across wherever you see the ants coming in.
Oh, interesting.
Just sprinkle it there. You don't have to have a whole lot of, because that stuff they won't walk across it because it basically cuts them to shreds.
Oh, fun.
I mean, I feel like Resurrections is her saying, you didn't do anything about this.
Yeah.
You know, y'all just let this continue. Like we told you that it was fucked up. You know,
right? Well, they took, and part of it is that like
problematic phrase noted, but the balls of being like, we're going to tell a sci-fi story where, you know, actually the deeper you go or into the sci-fi universe it's going to be depressing. It's not even going to be as cool as it is. You know what I mean? Like it's almost inverse from what you would think a sci-fi thing normally would do. If it was going to do anything, and that was specifically to, you know, show that like once you peel the paint off of this shit, it's kind of a bummer, and it's been like this for a long time, and you know,
yeah. Okay, so to cycle back to what I was saying before I got distracted by a couple of ants in my house, is that like there's watching The Matrix and not knowing it's a trans allegory. Then there's learning it is rewatching and go, oh, I see it. And then there's watching it while trans and going, oh, fuck. All right. Yeah, I really, this is rude. This is kind of impolite, guys.
Before it was confirmed by them that it was, you watched it with that or in mind, or what was that like? Because I can imagine it would be kind of a mind fuck if they had not actually come out and confirmed that that's what it was yet. And if you're like realizing while watching it that like so many things are like that I could see that being kind of a trip, right?
Yeah, there's so many little things like once you hear that and you watch it from like knowing that that's what they were, one of their influences, you're like, oh, okay, that and all right, yeah, sure.
So I've always wondered if them saying it's a trans allegory is something that they realized at the time they were making it, consciously realized, or is it something they realized about it after they were more fully understanding their own identities?
I think that not Lana, the other one, forget her name. I think she was maybe a little bit more.
One of them was further along that path,
but I still think I remember seeing that they weren't really fully cognizant of that being, you know, like I don't know that they literally made the red and the blue pill, you know, that because of that reason kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, the red pill was red because that was the generic estradiol pill that was on the market was red.
So they did make the colors of the pills in the movie for that reason?
Yeah. At least the red pill was that way for that reason.
Okay.
And the oh god, I can't remember their name. I think Glitch is her name. One of the characters, one of the members of the crew was supposed to be Switch.
Yeah.
Was supposed to be a woman in the Matrix and Mask on the ship.
I remember having I dated a couple of different girls and through high school a little bit after and stuff. A couple different times I dated them each. That you know we're pretty fluid with their sexuality and stuff, and I remember both of them were really big fans of the Wachowskis' prior movie, Bound.
Yeah.
Which I just have heard and seen a lot of queer people say it was an amazing, you know.
Well, it's an amazing. I mean, it's a great.
You know, before they transition, it's like how did this couple of guys make this amazing lesbian movie? You know what I mean?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, I get it now.
It's not just an amazing lesbian movie. It's also a great film noir movie. Sure. I mean, it's
been a long time now.
Yeah.
I might have to track that down because I'm
17.
So you haven't seen Bound?
I have not seen Bound. No.
It's got Joey Pants in it, and it's got Gina Gershon, and it's got Jennifer Tilly or Meg Tilly, one of those two. I forget which one.
I see that.
It's Jennifer Tilly, I believe.
Jennifer Tilly. Okay. And yeah, it's really good. I think it's the one that got them
on the radar.
noticed.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that movie was just like, I mean, it's not the Matrix. What didn't cost a lot, the original one. I mean, it did, like giving essentially unknown filmmakers who made one feature film the money to make a Matrix type level movie. God damn, I remember the marketing. God damn, what a magical summer that was.
Matrix was made for $63 million, which is a lot back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one thing that I've missed in the last, with the rise of social media and the change in the way people make trailers is being surprised by in that particular way by a movie. I'm still surprised by movies in other ways, but like having a plot twist in the movie that is not in any way telegraphed by any of the marketing.
Oh yes, please. Back to I wish more movies did that.
They literally would just the trailer for the longest time. I mean, for months before I knew anything about it, before anybody did, it was just what is the Matrix,
right?
And I don't know how, but like I guess because we weren't internet poisoned yet, so
there was barely an internet yet,
right? I was like, I don't know, what is it? I fucking have to know, And then of course, to pull it off to where like whenever they literally explain it in the movie that it isn't a letdown and that it is actually something you kind of have to process and you're like, what the fuck?
And also that it's
just been like, it's a room over here.
Well, and
and also that it's such a mind fuck, right? And it's a very sophisticated concept, and they managed to boil it down into a very understandable way.
Unfortunately, that some people so easy to understand, it's easy to misunderstand.
Yeah.
But I think part of what makes it work is that you escalate the body horror. That there's this level of realization that goes into it, and I think this is why once you realize it's a trans allegory, the movie becomes better. Is because that's kind of how figuring out your trans works. It's these little steps that things aren't quite right, and it's more not that it's body horror, but dysphoria is a thing and it's horrifying. But the movie uses that experience from the creators to escalate your body horror to the point where you want to know why everything is fucked up, because there is it's a supernatural element, right? When like the agent can make his mouth close and stuff. Right. And they inject him with the thing and he wakes up and he doesn't remember, and they pull it out later on, and all of those things.
I mean, it is. I'm not denying the trans.
Yeah, no, I know.
But you can apply it to other things as well. It's easy to just be like, nothing makes sense. I don't understand why things are this way. It seems wrong. Everything feels wrong. And then like, how the fuck is that happening? That shouldn't be happening. And yet it is. I'm seeing it. And then like, the literally having to be plucked from where you've been asleep, or your true self has not been conscious, and you're in this your actual body now. You know what I mean? All that stuff seems
The
the
whole first act of that movie, if you do not know the twist ahead of time, is so confusing, but also so incredibly compelling. That
I didn't
just
understand
can't stop.
The first time I saw it. I was 17. I didn't see it in the theater, unfortunately. Because I made the mistake of thinking that all my eyes were on fucking that new Star Wars is going to be something special.
It was. Hey, look, that Star Wars movie, we were all wrong about it. That it turns out trade disputes actually can destroy a whole civilization.
Turns out.
So maybe Uncle George was onto something there. I don't know.
So I saw it like when it came out on video. I literally bought it the day it came out on video, video VHS, and I watched it. And I just remember sitting like when it ended, and I'm just like staring at the screen as the credits played, and I like trying to understand and kind of feeling a little bit like I'd missed something, or that I was I'm like, of course my older brother is kind of a dick about things like this, and I said something to him like, dude, I don't think I understood that, and he was like, oh, you didn't?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I gotta watch it again. He's like, all right, let's watch it.
I figured it out in the first 5 minutes, doofus.
Sure, okay. Like, as someone who genuinely has like sat down to watch a movie and by like 10, 15 minutes and know the whole what's going to happen. Like The Matrix is not one of those movies. I'm sorry. If you
No, it's
don't
not.
already know, you're not going to guess.
I mean, yeah, that kind of like the movie basically broke my my limits for what a movie could do, what a story could do.
Yeah.
Prior to that, my favorite film was also a science fiction film, and it had been the same since it came out, which was Terminator 2: Judgment Day. And then I saw The Matrix, and that became my favorite
Yeah.
movie for, I don't know how
See, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is one where the plot twist was spoiled by the marketing.
Mhm.
And I have never forgiven it for that because it's still a great movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of like reactors on YouTube, like younger people who actually don't know that's going to happen. And
Right.
a significant number of times it genuinely surprises them.
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, I wish I'd had
that.
that experience.
That the way that hallway sequence plays out is fucking thrilling, even whenever you know what
Yeah.
the twist is going to be. But I can only imagine not knowing that oh wait, what, you know what I mean? The cop is, oh god.
Yeah. I'm the weirdo who thinks that, especially like because I was spoiled that like it didn't come out it came out well before I was alive, but that I was spoiled to the twist in T2 that like I've always liked the first Terminator more because it's kind of a straightforward horror movie.
Yeah.
Like it's just been, and I'm not normally a horror movie person, so I know that sounds weird, but like for whatever reason, I just that movie has resonated with me more than T2 did.
It's more like it's a slasher movie for sure, and it's like, it doesn't have a lot of gore really. It just has a lot of like really tense kind of chase scares kind of thing, which is what makes it feel like a horror movie, I think.
Yeah, I think like the police station scenes are fantastic.
Yep. I remember I watched I have this memory of watching the first one when my parents had like fallen asleep or something like that. And I'm sitting at the foot of their bed on the floor and like just thinking, I hope they don't wake up because I'm just watching it right there while they're sleeping in bed. And being, I was probably like 8, 7, some shit like that. And yeah, it's pretty great. Of course,
I will be right back again.
Soon after Terminator 2 coming out, and literally like it was rated R, but you're gonna tell me that movie wasn't made in part for kids? Fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a different time. I made a video about this where like movies could be made that were rated R and had blood and stuff, and actually just outwardly promoted this child delinquent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they made action figures for it. For a rated R movie, they made action figures.
Did they?
For children to buy?
Make videos about this. I don't know. Yeah. Wow. Movies. When life was simple. Whenever it was just movies were all I really thought about. I remember my friend throughout middle school and high school, like this was the shit we talked about constantly. And
yeah, it used to be for me in my circle of friends when I lived in Florida. The main thing we did to socialize was every Friday night we'd get like 8 or 10 of us and we'd go see a movie in a theater. And then we would sit and go to like Denny's or Waffle House or something like that and talk about it for hours. If it was a good movie. If it was a shit movie, we'd be like, okay, that sucked. See you later.
Yeah, I mean, we throughout high school, especially, we would go to the video store on Friday, after school, not immediately after, but I would like go home and I'd come over to his place because his mom was super cool. And we'd go to the video store, we'd just grab whatever, new thing that we were willing to watch, or almost every time we would, even if there wasn't something new, we would grab some schlocky horror shit, knowing that some of it was probably not going to be that great. But we were just excited to fucking figure it out, find out. I had some great experiences doing that.
She's back.
Hi.
Hey.
Were you fighting off the ants?
I was. It was very 50s sci-fi.
What about the uncles?
Don't even get me started on uncles right now.
I'll be here all week, folks.
Ooh, no. I have some choice uncles. And they're kind of shitty people.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. I have one good uncle. He's a defense contractor, so it sets the bar kind of low, but they still manage to crawl under it.
So he's a good uncle in the sense of performing the function of being an uncle. He's proficient at that task, but
yes,
he's not necessarily a good person. Is he defense contractor? Okay.
Right. Yeah. He soars over my other uncles in all respects.
Yeah. I had relatives like that too.
Yeah.
People who were like I had one uncle in particular who was like confounded me because he, like the rest of my family, would say the like really racist things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I never saw him be cruel to anyone, even like black people or anyone. He treated everyone that he met more or less as an equal, but he still said terrible things.
Yeah.
And it confused the shit out of me when I was a kid.
So let me ask you this: Is he still alive or what?
No, he's dead.
Okay. Was he alive when Trump came into picture? No.
No.
Okay, because I'm just curious, like if it was a similar thing, my dad and other guys, people I've known of, where it's like that are like that, where they're like, they would, it would almost be a shameful thing to even treat anybody any differently than they, you know what I mean? But like at the same time, privately, they would often just, my dad would say jokes about black people. He had a whole like run of jokes that he had about stuff like that, and it's pretty disgusting. But he would never like actually treat a black person differently and everything was pretty contained to like him kind of getting a reaction out of us for saying something that we knew was racist or whatever. But then Trump came along and it's like, for some of these people, a lot of these people, it's almost like Trump said, no, that's good, but like that's not enough. You need to be yourself. You know what I mean? Like just go ahead and open it on up and just be that, like, to where it wasn't about just like snickering because like my dad thought it was funny to get a rise out of us anymore. It was that, but it was also like there was over time eventually just there's some malice in there. It felt like he actually might treat people differently if given the chance, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how my one uncle is, or he would treat them with malice given the chance. Yeah.
Same. Friday night was cereal and Blockbuster. Hell yeah. I know, man. Like, dude, there was this movie we watched that we rented one time called, I don't know if it was called Wolf Cop, Wolf Man, something like that. There was a cop and he became a werewolf. That was
oh my God.
And
I remember that one. Yeah.
There was a scene where he's driving and like, I'm talking about weed. So this is where we started smoking weed too, in high school. And like his dad used to get us some really excellent weed and we would get fucking baked. And we were watching this movie and there's a scene where he wolfs out while he's driving the car and like, I'm gonna have to turn on my camera to show you this. He goes, he's like driving, and then suddenly it cuts away, and it cuts back, and he's the wolf, and he goes, car just like flies off the fucking thing. We were like had tears streaming down our faces. We were laughing so fucking hard.
You know what's funny to me is that movie, if it's the Wolf Cop movie that I think it is, it's often confused with an earlier movie starring Mario Van Peebles that had the same premise.
I'm talking about the earlier one maybe because I think I remember seeing Wolf Cop as like it's a newer, intentionally funny one maybe, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
but there is like
do it on purpose,
a late 80s or early 90s Mario Van Peebles movie where the premise is he's the new guy on the cop squad and he finds out all the other cops on the squad are werewolves.
Oh jeez.
Oh God.
But they're still trying to protect the innocent, right? It's really stupid, but
then
like the movie Wolf Cop, I don't remember what that movie was called. I could swear it was called Wolf Cop, but I don't think it was. But then I saw the newer movie Wolf Cop, which is intentionally funny, or at least it seems like it was meant to be intentionally funny.
I am getting hungry.
All right.
We're about 2 hours here anyway. That's been fun.
Yeah.
Can
wrap it up.
We're gonna try and do a bit of put our work on the stream tomorrow.
Yeah, if we got some time, I think we can manage that.
time are
You mean as a research stream publicly or like off stream?
I think it'd be fun. You know, I think I like the idea of a research stream in theory. Maybe it completely goes bonkers and doesn't work. Who knows?
But we can try.
You know, I'd like to maybe get active engagement from audience and like kind of
Mhm.
see what their angle on, you know, what is it that they want to learn about that we might
Yeah.
not think about, you know, that kind of thing.
That
So
sounds great.
tomorrow, there's going to be a research stream and hopefully it'll work out. We'll do it again in the future where we do a live stream and it'll probably be on Fridays after that though, that we do that.
Probably.
And so it's essentially the topic for the next episode that we're doing. Well, you haven't seen any episodes yet, but we'll be recording backlogging some episodes. You'll get a little peek at it because the topic is essentially Krakoa X-Men X ethnostates, such as I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head out.
There are so many to choose from, but there's one in particular I can't think of it right now.
It's that one off the Mediterranean, right? Though, but like
Yeah.
they've got a prison between them and the Mediterranean that they control. I can't think of what they're called.
So I will say this:
Wakanda? Is that what it's called?
Oh God!
Yep. Okay, so
I don't know why that got me. So I should have seen that coming. Honestly, I really should have.
A while for you know that I was a big K-head Krakoa fan, and it was bittersweet that it ended. You know.
Yeah.
And I had a feeling, and I've kind of, you know, subjectively, of course, my opinion has been proven to be the case that seems really hard to go back from that. Like everything else feels a bit like a retread. Even some of the best stuff since the end of Krakoa, some of the best stuff feels still like a really good retread of stuff that's been done in the X-Men comics before.
I feel like to keep it totally in the House of X, the Age of Revelation stuff is literally just like, hey, you remember Krakoa? And I'm like, it has been literally like a year and a half. What are you even doing here? Like, this is bad. Like it was bad.
But so, and another part of that is, so the real world aspect is that I was not, I did not have firm anti-Zionist views on Israel. I didn't have any really. It was just kind of, in fact, maybe we'll go into our personal journeys in the actual episode of
I think it's best to talk about there.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't, or you do?
No, I think it's a good thing to talk in the episode about. Yeah, should save it for that.
I didn't have. I was just basically under the low information. Kind of just defaulted to the seemingly a consensus of like, well, Israel's got to protect Israel. They got to protect their home. They need a place to, you know, protect themselves. You don't ask questions. You know what I mean? And that's definitely not where I'm at now. And oddly, a lot of that started changing, obviously, with October 7th, 2023, right?
Yeah.
And that was right before they started kind of winding Krakoa down, and it was hard. I didn't really do any analyzing of it as their comics were coming out, but I was aware. It was at the corner of my mind of like, okay, there's some stuff here that I'm not engaging with it that way yet, but I have been going back and reading some stuff now. Definitely engaging with it that way. It seems to have been created by Hickman, at least partially, to do that, to look at it from this perspective. And
it certainly seems to have been an inspiration.
Yeah, but we can talk about all that.
You know, give everybody
on the research stream and or
counting of the whole picture. And here's a speaking picture. I think this kind of says a lot about it, right? It's distasteful. I know this business of running a nation so casually. I wonder if they genocided a nation yet at this point. I don't know.
I don't think they ever do.
I'll talk about this more when we make the episode, but I will say that this design of Xavier's costume when he's wearing the helmet just kind of gives me Uncanny Valley vibes.
It's creepy. It's weird.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And I think that's like, I think it's obviously intentional, I think.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
It has something to do with Hickman loves his aesthetic of a skinny guy in black tights with a weird helmet on his head.
Yeah.
It's, the maker is very much that.
The same guy, yeah.
But you know, like I started I had not read this story before, so when I started reading it earlier this week, The House of X, And I saw this design in the first couple pages before he said, "To me, my X-Men." I was like, whoa, who the fuck is this? Oh my God, this is so creepy. Who is this guy?
So I think at the beginning of this story, he's not even in his own body.
Yeah.
Which does not come up in this story at all and does not matter whatsoever. But someone else gave up his body for.
Right. It was Phantom X, actually.
It was Phantom X, yeah.
Yep.
That's not even like the Charles Xavier you're used to seeing. It's not even the same chassis.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that, like, this page I'm about to show is the perfect example of me reading House of X when Powers of 10 when it came out and being absolutely love it, still do. Kind of think it's a masterpiece in comics. And looking at this now, though, I don't think I really thought too hard about the background of this scene as I was reading it, because I was focused more on what Magneto is saying and how cool it is and everything, and just like looks a little, I don't know, Israeli, like a little like a Jerusalem-y there a little bit.
That's where they are, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So, but I didn't really put two and two together as a point.
Because of the domes, the minarets and stuff. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and the things he's saying at that time is literally, talking about their religions and stuff.
See, I think for me at the time I was reading it, it was a commentary on how human religious groups view this particular strip of land along the Mediterranean.
I might have thought about that, but I mean, for most of my awareness was about the comic context of everything.
Sure.
Like, oh, this is a momentous moment. This is absolutely insane that they're just like, this is the way things are now. Deal with it. We're starting a nation because we've been oppressed too long, so on and so forth. You get where we're going with it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be problematic.
Yeah.
We're going to get called anti-Semites. We're also probably going to get called neoliberals. That'll be fun.
Probably, yeah. We take all types. We even have a Bob on the show. Can you imagine how scandalous?
Bob's our Hegseth on this one. It's all your fault, Bob.
Woof. I don't know that I would go that far, Dane.
I know. We wouldn't do that to Bob.
I was trying to think of like something quippy that Hegseth has said to retort with, but he hasn't said anything.
Because he's Rizless, as the kids would say.
Quote the Bible or something. I don't know.
No, he'll quote
a fake Bible quote like he did recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah,
he
quoted.
He was quoting.
What's it?
Pulp Fiction.
Tarantino. Yeah, Pulp Fiction. Thank you.
But he thought he was quoting the Bible. So
Are you fucking kidding me? Was he doing that? I will strike down upon the. Was that what he's doing?
Yeah, which is not an actual Bible quote. Ezekiel 25:17 does not actually say that.
Nope.
But Pete Hegseth thinks that it does, apparently. So,
well, I mean, look, now I'm processing that because apparently Tarantino thought it did say that, and along with him being, very staunchly pro-Israel, that's his other problematic issue that he's got. I think Tarantino.
I may be getting the chapter and verse that he thinks he's quoting wrong. In the movie, he does say Ezekiel 25:17, right?
I don't remember.
It's been so long, I don't remember.
I'll look it up.
Someone mentioned it in chat earlier.
Yeah, but I remember looking it up at the time and going, "That's not what that says," and then looking up to verify it, and it is indeed not what it says.
So what I'm going to do is say thank you to Bob and Morgan once again, as always. Looking forward to tomorrow. And then I've got a couple of videos I just wanted to show anyway. But we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. One of them is one that I found right before the stream. That's Tom Morello, guitarist of the band Rage Against the Machine. And it is mostly a guitar music focused video, but it's kind of inspirational in a weird way. I just want to show it. You can do with it what you will. And then I'll play some of the damn R-rated toys video while I in the stream. So yeah, you guys like and subscribe. If you haven't headed over to the official Modern Audience yet, subscribe to that.
Yes.
Upwards of 300 subs so far.
And go subscribe to my new channel, Armchair Black Belt.
I thought we were so committed to the bit where you weren't the armchair black belt.
I meant to show this actually. My bad, Bob.
Is the bit canceled?
I've outed myself. Sorry.
Ah, okay. Well, damn. What was I doing with my life?
Do you want me to share this? Is that what you?
Yeah, go ahead. This is a post I made today.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, commenting on Disparu, who says, "Real masculinity is feminism. Is one of the most laughable creations of modernity. I knew the drugs had shrunk his balls, but he really should lay off the milking farm books." What? So, Bob, you want to read what you said?
Yeah, so I shared this tweet from Disparo, and I said, a 14-year-old girl with a gray-white BJJ belt could clear this Disparo guy here in her sleep. And for those who don't know, the gray-white belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the one step above white belt.
Right. Literally the learner's permit.
Yeah. And then I said, be sure to check out my recent video, blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
Be sure to check out the channel, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually did a community post for the first time in quite a while today.
I saw.
Real quickly here, this is a critical drinker thinks that a round of reshoots for a film is an indicator that the film would be bad, but then also he's totally cool with 20 plus revisions of his awful short film. The one
I'm trying to figure out what they keep changing. Maybe they're trying to figure out a way to.
I've got version 15 or 14. I've got it downloaded. We can check it out sometime.
Maybe they're trying to figure out a way to edit out the blonde woman.
Maybe,
sure.
Probably.
Who ruined everything, right?
She's a load bearing character, I believe, from the way he talks about it. So
yeah, and she was the best screen fighter in the whole thing.
Whoops.
She's the only one who obviously has training from before.
For stage combat.
Steven Seagal is the literal armchair black belt. He literally does.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe he's right since he provided his own evidence. That's true. I mean, that is a way to look at it. I mean, I'm just saying that what is the point of all the edits then? Because as I described up here, whether you're, in music editing, this is a term. It's also a term in film media editing. Turd scrubbing, turd polishing, so on, whatever. And it's, you can polish it up, shiny up all you want to. It's still going to just be a piece of shit. And yeah.
Is he even planning on releasing a new version to the public, or they just keep tinkering with it behind the scenes?
I'm guessing no. I mean, I think they're planning on doing something with, because if they're still making other short films in the fucking stupid extended universe of turds, then I imagine they want this original one to be something they're not completely embarrassed about. Maybe.
Sure. But this is a guy who famously does not watch the things he reviews.
Yeah.
So I feel like just maybe this guy doesn't know anything about how film works. He's on version 20 of his short film.
To be fair, he is not the director, so he's not the one doing the edits, but
that's a fair point.
He is. I think it is his Kickstarter or his Patreon, one of the two.
Correct. Yeah, I think it was a Kickstarter or some crowdfunding.
He was on set for all of these things,
right? And it's his source material, so I don't know, man.
When I see him without his sunglasses, I realize why he wears his sunglasses, because he just looks kind of like there's not much going on behind the eyes.
Yeah. I also just realized there's something funky going on with his beard below his lip there. On one side, it looks like.
Yeah, it's patchy on one side and bare on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And also they
make a trimmer for that,
That could just be a trick of the light, though.
That could be.
All right, here's this. You guys are lovely. Have a good one. And peace be with you and whatnot.
I was determined to get a custom-made guitar, as many of my guitar heroes had. I was working for Senator Alan Cranston as his scheduling secretary, making $15,000 a year. I knew nothing about making guitar, and I checked a bunch of boxes, spent a lot of money on the crappiest guitar that anyone has ever played, and I finally just gave up. This is the equipment I've got. This is the sound that I have. It's not what I envisioned at all, but this sound is just going to be my sound. I'm going to be creating with the instrument that I have, not continuing to worry about an instrument that I don't have. And that guitar is the Arm the Homeless guitar. That from that day in 1988 to 2025, I've played at every show and has been on every record I've ever recorded with exactly that guitar and those particular amp settings on that particular day.
Nice.
A power loader! Get away from her, you bitch!
Last video, we looked at kids' cartoons from the 80s and early 90s that were adapted from R-rated films. RoboCop, Rambo, Conan the Barbarian, Police Academy, Toxic Avenger. You guys seem to really enjoy that bizarre trip down memory lane into days gone by that saw Saturday morning TV airwaves saturated with lighthearted introductions to much more mature content. Sure, if you grew up in that time like I did, maybe your innocence was destroyed, but you had a great time. Nowadays, kids' cartoons are made for, kids. And as I said in that previous video, the main reason for cartoons that existed like that was so that they could sell action figures. That's where the real money was for licensed products. So today, we're going to follow it up by taking a look at some of the actual action figures associated with those R-rated movies.
Your clothes, give them to me.
Welcome to Actual Fandom. I hope you'll subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoy what I talk about in this video. Leave a comment with the toys that you had or that you wish you had that depicted characters from R-rated films. If you guys really let me know that this video is something you want to see even more of, I can do another one on the video games that were adapted from R-rated films.
Now I'm playing with power.
Free graphics.
I'm back. Got to find John Connor.
But evil T-1000 gets to him first.
Holy shit.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day was a blockbuster success, despite the fact that it was rated R. But even though the movie was made for people over 18 years old initially, a whole bunch of kids got into it. I mean, to me personally, that was my favorite movie from the time it came out until basically The Matrix. Kids went nuts for Schwarzenegger's Terminator.
The ultimate Terminator. He looks mean. He sounds mean.
Fuck you, asshole.
Especially in a movie where you take a character like John Connor, a little kid,
Did you call moi a dipshit?
and then buddy him up with the Terminator and make the Terminator a good guy.
The ultimate Terminator for the ultimate Terminator adventure.
That was wish fulfillment for little kids like myself, right? Who didn't want their own Terminator? There was a whole heap of toys made from Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Techno punch Terminator.
Talking Arnie dolls.
Chill out, dickwad.
A whole bunch of different action figures with different special features,
You're next, John Connor.
Oh shit!
including the BioFlesh Regenerator,
Battle damage.
Add flesh compound.
which allowed kids to pull the flesh off of the toy to where you could see the Terminator skeleton underneath.
Wish I could have met my real dad.
Then there was A Nightmare on Elm Street, believe it or not. Even though Freddy Krueger, canonically, was a serial killer who murdered children before he was killed and then became, a dream-stalking demon, kids loved the dude. I know I did.
It's a boy!
And even though none of the Freddy films were ever rated anything other than rated R, that didn't stop the shelves from being stocked with all sorts of Freddy merchandise for kids.
We'll see, bitch.
There was talking Freddy dolls,
What's the prime time, bitch?
Freddy Krueger yo-yos, and you could even get little, plastic Freddy gloves. For something that wasn't made for kids, kids love Freddy.
Bon appetit, bitch.
In the future, you have to defrost a cup to put a criminal on ice.
Let's go blow this guy.
Now, if you're like me and you like sophisticated science fiction satire, you probably love the movie Demolition Man.
Sylvester Stallone is John Spartan, the Demolition Man.
You shit.
It had a lot of violence and swearing, and it was definitely not made for kids. But guess what? It had toys.
The toughest cop in the 21st century.
This is a rap burger.
It was standard action figure fare, main characters John Spartan and Simon Phoenix.
Wesley Snipes is cold-blooded Simon Phoenix.
Heads up!
An array of silly battle armor and bearing names such as Battle Baton Spartan. Blast Attack Phoenix.
But Demolition Man always keeps his cool.
Why didn't you just shove a leash up my ass?
I don't know if parents really complained about these toys existing back in the day, but I know I have a complaint that they never released the 3 Seashells toys.
Says free!
Are all fluid transfer activities like this?
The future isn't big enough for the both of them.
You really licked his ass.
Demolition Man, figures of Bola Jet each sold separately, new from Mattel.
Fucking A.
Starship Troopers is a satirical takedown of warmongering fascist culture.
This year we explored the failure of democracy.
Disguised as a big dumb action movie. Kids at the time probably didn't get the commentary that Paul Verhoeven was going for any more than they got his movie RoboCop a decade before.
I'd buy that for $1.
Starship Troopers spawned a veritable avalanche of tie-in toys ranging from action figures with names like Firestorm Johnny Rico and Bug Thrasher Carmen Ibanez to remote-controlled versions of the film's villainous bugs. Now, Starship Troopers had a whole lot of nudity, a whole lot of violence, and plenty of adult language. Which is why it's pretty crazy that this got a toy line in the first place, but it was another time.
Force, my friends, is violence, the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived.
Tales from the Crypt.
The long-running HBO anthology series, Tales from the Crypt, was filled with dark comedy,
Well, kiddies, I'm afraid our designer hanger offer has expired.
horror, nudity, all the good stuff. The Crypt Keeper, despite having a pretty horrific design, was also appealing to kids, myself included. He was full of puns.
I've always wanted a swing set. Just a little something for when I'm hanging out watching the news.
He was always laughing. And I mean, Tales from the Crypt was originally a comic book that was marketed to kids in the first place. If you want to know more about that and how it nearly killed the comic book industry, see this video. But kids went wild for Crypt Keeper, leading to a kids cartoon and a whole bunch of toys.
You must meet Crypt Keeper! Sickening sex and vomitous violence. Parental guidance is advised.
Including talking dolls and action figures.
Guide your parents out of the room so we can have some fun.
Now that I think about it, I want to see if I can find any Crypt Keeper action figures. I never had one, and now I want one.
Just another satisfied ghostomer.
Like we discussed in the previous video about cartoons based on R-rated movies, Conan the Barbarian was a hit with kids. Making family-friendly cartoons out of Robert E. Howard's famously violent Barbarian, it's a pretty weird choice, but Arnold was a big hit in that period, and you know. And as I mentioned in that previous video, the Conan the Barbarian